No, today we're flipping the script. Scrolling. What makes a successful piece of content, and how do you measure that?
If it makes me feel something. I remember sending it to you. I'm like, I have never thought about this song in this way, and I was in tears.
You're learning and you're trying to operate at the same time, and that doesn't always balance. It doesn't always lead to a desirable outcome.
Yeah,
sure,
but
her
I'm a
business is
content
doing
creator,
well.
and so people can be like, oh, she's making an Amazon affiliate, which I'm not making money on Amazon. Like, I wish I were.
I think I saw like $60 come in.
Yeah.
Wow. Keep
Really
going, babe. Welcome back to Better Than Before. Today I am joined by Yami Mufdi, a mom of a beautiful baby girl, a content creator, an influencer who has amassed an audience of over 600,000 people across her social platforms. Yami, thank you much for joining me on this podcast.
You're so welcome.
Did
What's
I say
your
thank
name?
you much or thank you so much?
You said thank you much.
Thank you much. Thank you so much for joining me today.
What's your name? What podcast are we on?
We're on Better Than Before. I said that.
I know, but you didn't say your name.
Oh, I'm Taz, and she's she's the creator of this podcast, but I'm interviewing her today. I'm Taz. I'm her husband.
Yeah, he's
Let's
taking
get
over.
right into it. We don't have time.
Chill.
No, today we're flipping the script.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, let's slow it down a little bit because
Thank you.
I expended a lot of energy.
You really did. You went
I
from
came
0 to
in
100. I
hot.
was like, what is happening?
I was like, I need an intro for her. What am I going to say? No, today we just figured we'd switch it, and I'm going to ask her questions. Usually she interviews people, and but I'm going to ask her, coming from her husband. Some of them will be business related. Some of them will be personal relationship related. And we'll
Are there
see
any
where they
fun
go.
questions, or are these all like serious?
There are some fun questions.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we just going to get right into it?
Have you been?
Good.
Yeah. We just recorded another podcast right before this.
Yeah.
So
So if you want to know how I'm doing, listen to that one.
yeah.
I'm kidding. No, I'm good.
Good.
Yeah. Dealing with a little bit of an injury, but other than that, pretty good.
Good.
Yeah. Good.
Hopefully it'll be gone soon.
I know.
We're working through it.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say before we get into the questions?
I don't know. This is kind of like the last podcast we were doing. I was like, oh, how funny would it be if you would just ask me questions? And here we are. We just went right to it because if we don't do it now, it's not going to happen.
We're set up. We might as well do it.
I'm a little nervy, not going to lie.
What kind of questions would you want to start with? Would you want to
I
start
don't
with
know.
something like lighter or just
yeah,
go right
let's do
into
something lighter and then work our way.
Okay, something lighter. Let's just jump right in. So you've been creating content for a while now.
Yep.
You've done some pretty cool collabs with some big brands. Who is or what is a brand that you still dream of working with at this point?
It's a good question. My management actually asked me this, and I was like, I don't know. No, but I think at this point, it's more so about like what the brand represents rather than what the brand is. But I mean, if we're talking about like dream, Louis Vuitton would
So
be
luxury
up there.
brand.
A luxury brand. I love Louis Vuitton. I've always loved the print. I'm not a big print girl when it comes to like luxury bags. Like I hate.
They're loud and obnoxious. I remember
Yes.
you saying that like one of the first times
yeah.
we were looking at like I remember this sticks in my head, Michael Kors, and you were like, ugh, yucky. Because they always have like the huge.
I don't know what it is. I don't like Michael Kors. I don't like the Coach C's. I don't like them. But you give me an LV, I'll rock it.
Because like you like the embossed. Well,
I do like the embossed Louis Vuitton.
Primary.
Yes, but I do like the
LV, like
the LV brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
But
now, if you were to collab with them, what would you
collab with them?
Yeah, how would you want to work with them? Like what? Like when you do a collaboration, like how? What would that look like? If that's your dream collaboration.
Yeah.
Brand to work with. What would you
want
to do?
Listen, product never hurt nobody, but a lot of brands like send them to Paris Fashion Week or.
I was gonna say, is it like a trip? Is it like you go out and
like
tour of their
Can
facility,
you imagine
or like
going
something?
to Paris Fashion Week with Louis Vuitton? But when we went to Europe this past summer, we went to Ferragamo, And we learned so much about the company and the brand, Ferragamo himself. And I think it's really cool when you learn so much about the history of that brand. So yeah, I think like a brand trip like that where they share the history. Oh, Caudalie would be a dream brand to work with.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Is it because they're a Paris brand, or like are they a big? I guess I'm not familiar with it, only with that spray you have.
Yeah.
But why?
I just love their products. So Caudalie is a skincare product. I
Mhm.
used a bunch of their products for actually our wedding. Loved it. And then the spray is just chef's kiss. It'd be really cool to do one with Range Rover too,
That would be cool.
because I love the product.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you love about Range Rover?
I just feel really safe in it. I remember when we first got the car, it was raining and I was like, oh, I used to hate driving in the rain. I could drive in the rain for hours with this car. I felt really safe. I felt
Car is solid in the rain.
oh yeah, it's so good. And I've never had an issue with it until recently. But that's I think it's just like wear and tear, right?
Yeah, I mean,
like
we had to do
normal.
the brakes and
Yeah.
the battery had to be replaced.
Yeah.
But like
So.
it was nothing major,
Never.
which is thank God.
Yeah. But like on a smaller scale, I like Huda a lot. I like Kosas. These are all makeup brands. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
What about?
Actually, let's go back. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm thinking about what you said. I was gonna finish that thought with like, I'm not a big fan of brands. Like a brand is a brand, right? Whatever. But like we can go on a trip somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, I was lucky enough to work with Weston and they sent us to Dominican Republic and that was a dream. But I think I learned so much from that trip because I was so focused on like getting the content that I wasn't really like enjoying.
Yeah. It's the first time we've done that too. So it's like you want to make sure you go. It's not like you can refilm anything.
Right.
Like you have to make sure you get everything, and there's a list, and there's making sure you say things right and capture things right. And
so while I was working in the sun, like it didn't feel like a vacation. Everybody's like, oh, how lucky you went on vacation for a collab. But like, I'm like, yeah, no, I was very lucky. I'm very blessed. But I was still learning how to navigate like being on vacation, but also working. And I think if I am blessed enough to work again with a company like that or a hotel, I think I'd be a better, like mentally.
Yeah. Because like we got done and it was like the brand loved it. Like they
obsessed.
There was nothing
no notes
that they would have changed. So it was like we got everything we needed to, and there was no stress about. Like there ended up not being anything to stress about.
It was so great.
We were,
yeah.
Like a little bit. I wouldn't say stressed, but we were hyper sensitive of making sure everything got done.
Yeah.
And
because you want to deliver, right? And you can imagine like this brand is paying you.
Yeah.
And then you deliver garbage and it's like they're never going to work with you again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's good. That's some good insight. 2020 hindsight. What's one moment with, you hate this word, fans, that really stuck with you? Like with your community?
Oh, I'm going to cry. Oh, my nose is tingling.
Should we wait till later for that one?
No, it's okay. So there hasn't been any interactions like recently. Just because we're just not in that scene anymore. Like we don't go to fitness expos anymore and we don't have all that. But one that oh my God. Okay, I can do this.
You can do it.
We were living in New Hampshire at the time. And I was in a really bad place mentally, like and I got a DM from somebody's fiance at the time and they were like, oh, we're driving from here to here and we're passing through New Hampshire and my fiance is obsessed with you. She would love to. I can't.
I remember this.
I can't even. Oh my God. What the frick? Do you have a
I know. I have nothing in here.
And she would love to meet you if you'd be down. And I'm like, what? Again, like I am in the worst, like one of the worst periods of my life where I feel, I'm just gonna say I was like super depressed. And I get this message from this guy that's like, oh, my wife loves you so much, or fiance. And I was like, sure, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so we get there, and this is like months after he planned this, like months in advance. Like kudos to him. But we end up meeting them at like a diner, and they were at a booth, and we walk up to them, and I just like walked up to them, and I just like stood there, and she looked up, and she was like kind of frozen for a second, and then it hit her that I was there. And then she just freaked out. She started crying. I started crying. And then what she said next was just like, ugh. She said, like, oh my God, between the tears, she said, "You've changed my life in so many ways."
Aw.
And it was at that moment when I was like, this girl's telling me that I've changed her life, even when I'm like in the depths of like depression.
Yeah.
And that like switched something for me. So I would say that was like one of the best interactions.
Left a real big imprint
Yes.
on you.
Yes.
Is that kind of like, I mean, it stuck with you, obviously, but has it been kind of like an anchoring
Totally.
beacon
Yes.
in some ways?
Yeah.
To
Because
like
I doubt myself a lot.
Mhm.
And so like I doubt like, oh, I don't have an interesting life. I don't this and that, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm not making an impact. And then I just go back to that even with my struggle, I was able to help somebody out. So yeah.
That's so good. Well, that's amazing.
Mm.
What does success look like to you,
Ooh.
both professionally and personally?
Ay, ay, ay. I wasn't ready for all these questions. I think I thought success was like the money, the fame, the big house, the nice cars. And then I will never forget, I was in New Hampshire again. And we were sitting in the great room, or I was sitting in the great room by the window. I think I was trying to take a picture or something with the light. And somebody posted something like, and I think it was the first time I heard somebody describe success like this, like your success might not be my success. And that's when it like really changed my perspective on like, yeah, I don't even care about, of course I want a beautiful home and like stability and all
Sure.
that good stuff. But I think it was at that point where I was like, oh, I don't have to do what everybody else is doing. I could figure out what it is that I want and go from there. And so with that said, success, honestly, it feels like what I'm doing now. Like,
And what is that? Like, if you had to boil it down, like, what is what you're doing now mean like you're successful?
I would say stability is a big part of it for me. But also
Financial stability.
yes, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, financial stability. I will say, however, I don't feel like I know that we are, but at times I'm like, oh no, we're not. Like,
Mhm.
and I still have that lack mindset, so I'm still working on that. But like I feel the success with like the fit club and the community, and we don't have the most members by any means, but like I feel like we have a really good thing going with that. And
So is it more so like what it represents and not necessarily the current state that it's in?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because of course I always have goals and we could always go bigger and grow and make the community bigger and have more events for the community and all that. But at the end of the day, like we'd still be the same people, if that makes sense. And like we're still doing the same thing. And I'm going back to that parable that I remember, like that also changed my life. I shared it on a podcast here about the Mexican fisherman and but well, did I answer the question? Am I done?
Yeah. What does the success mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And then
Okay.
personally, I think success means like, I'm very big on like, I've always been really big on like self-improvement and the self-help and all of that. And I think it's just coming to peace with yourself that you are where you're supposed to be. And, just doing everything you can to make yourself a better person, but also be at peace within that.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Thanks.
I remember you saying like it's freedom.
Yes.
A lot of it comes down to
yes,
freedom
totally.
as well.
Yes, that's a big one.
And freedom for you is like I feel like being able to make decisions when you want them, how you want to make them.
Mm-hmm.
And some people, like, freedom might be like, okay, I'm going to go into finance and I'm going to be free financially.
Right.
Sure, you might be working 80 hours a week, but at least I got the money to back
Right.
it up. But like, that's not us.
No, for us, it's more so like, oh, and we don't do this very often, but like, oh, do you want to go on a trip?
Yeah.
Or like, do you want to do this for dinner? Like, I don't know. It's not even, no, it's more so like, hey, do you want to go to lunch?
Yeah.
Or like if we're taking Luna to school, we're like, oh, let's go to breakfast real quick instead of like, that's the freedom I'm talking about. Obviously, will I like to be filthy rich? Who doesn't? But that's not the priority, and that's never been my priority. I think the thought is always really nice.
Yeah. If it was, we've talked about this before. If money was the priority, like, you could have done other things.
Oh my gosh.
That could have gotten you financially. Yeah. Could have gotten you financially to where you wanted to be. But there's so many other things at play. So, no, it's great. What's one quality of mine that you've grown to appreciate more over time?
Huh? What's one quality of mine?
Of mine.
Oh, yours.
Of mine. One quality that I possess that you have come to, appreciate more
over time. Means I didn't like it at first.
Yeah. Or maybe it was like, but like now it's, oh wow, that's a good quality. That's all the question asks, so I don't have any way to elaborate on it.
I've loved all your qualities from the beginning. I'm very much put on the spot right now.
You are.
Can I think about that and go back to it? Because I feel like I have something, but I can't get it.
Okay, sure.
But don't forget it.
Okay. What's your favorite thing about our daily life together?
My favorite thing about our daily life together. I think it's those moments that we're laughing like uncontrollably. Like when I'm like, oh wow, he's funny.
Do I have to like remind you that I'm funny? Because I'm actually hilarious. I am. You just said it.
I'm funnier.
You're funny.
Am I not? I am so much funnier than you.
Okay.
Am I not?
Yeah, you are.
What?
Hilarious.
Case in point. Okay. Next question, please.
Next question. Okay. What's something you think people misunderstand about you?
Back in the day, when I would see people more often, before social media, people thought I was just a bitch.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Talk to me. I am a loser. I don't know. I think it's just the RBF face. RBF. You know?
So like first
or that I was like
impression,
conceited or as, I don't know, which I'm like the least conceited.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because I get that feedback too about me.
Oh, I was like, you think that about me? I was like, sir. You do?
Yeah. When people first meet me, they think I'm very standoffish.
Yes, I can see the standoffish.
Yep.
Because you don't talk.
Yeah. Yeah. We've said this so many times in the podcast.
Okay, there it is. That's it. That's one of the things I like about you now.
What?
At first he
I
would
don't
not
talk?
No. Let me get it out. Yeah. I see what you mean. No, that's not what I meant. I mean, in the beginning, we would go out with like people and like people that were like getting to know and like whatever. And Taz would just be like off to the side listening, but not really like talking, or he was just quiet. And I'm like looking at him. I'm like, do you want to be here, bro? And so I talked to him about it, and he's like, no, I just have nothing to say. And I'm not going to like just say something just to say something. And
at first I was like a tension point.
Yeah.
It was. We would leave someplace. We're like, are you okay? She'd ask me like, what's wrong? I'm like, nothing. Actually, I'm great.
Yeah.
And it was constantly a thing. Great. Shower.
Oh no. We have to stop that, right?
It's fine.
Are you sure?
No. It's not registering on the mic. Very, very low. I might be able to cut it out.
Okay. Well, here we go.
Let's hope I can cut it out.
Yeah, it'd be a tension point, and I'd be like, "Can you like try to enjoy the night?" And he would just be like, "I just don't have anything to add," and I'd be annoyed at first. And I'm like, "Why can't you be the fun guy?" And now it's like, meh. I appreciate that because there are some people that just talk just to hear themselves talk. And I'm like, just shut up. Like, no one cares. Not that nobody cares, but it's like you're not saying anything of anything right now. And so I do appreciate that about you. You are very mindful.
Very selective.
Very selective when like talking to me as well. Like we'll be talking and I'm like, can you just get it out? And he just has to think about what he's saying before he says it. So I do appreciate that a lot.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. That's good to know.
Yeah. But you could be more fun. Just kidding. Just kidding. I was being funny. Was that not funny? He's laughing, you guys. People are gonna think that I'm a bitch.
Well.
Oh, someone's sleeping on the couch tonight.
What? I have not said anything.
Oh, that's a problem.
You just said you like that about me.
That's funny.
What's one piece of advice you'd give someone trying to break into content creation or influencer work?
Oh, bro. I don't know. At this point, I feel like I think it comes down to consistency. And I said I didn't know because I started this so long ago. I didn't start this when this was like a thing. But now I would just say consistency. It's very hard to stay consistent when you're not seeing the views or the whatever. And you might just be like, oh, I'm not cut for this. But let me tell you, all it takes is one, and consistency. That's literally it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I would add to that, like, start now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, start now.
Before you think you're ready.
It's funny, like, I was talking about this on the podcast that I recorded yesterday with Brandon, and he said, I mean, you hear this all the time, the best day to plant a tree is 100 years ago. The next best day is right now. Because, like, time is going to pass anyway.
Yep.
And you could either spend that time, like, worrying about either what other people are going to think about you or saying you're not ready. But then, like, when the time comes to be ready.
Or, like, whatever you're putting out is not good enough, or you don't have the equipment, or you don't have this, or you don't have that. Like, all the excuses that we do.
And just start now.
Yeah. Because you're not, like, whatever you're putting out now is not going to be your best work.
It will never.
Ever. Like, you're always going to have something better. You might have things that are not as good, yes, but you need a starting point. And then
just like what we said, like, your first YouTube video, terrible. But, like, you would never have had that terrible first video if you'd never started.
Yeah.
And you would never be to where you are now if you had never started.
Yeah, that was 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy 10 years ago.
Wild. Anything else? Any other advice you give to people?
Yeah, keep the blinders on. That's something I'm struggling with right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because another one that I've thought about recently is create before you consume. Because if you just start going on social, the comparison comes in, you start thinking like, oh, I want to do that. That's cool. And you get so overstimulated that you're like, not doing anything. But if you create before you swipe and consume the content, you already know what you wanted in the first place and you get it out there. Maybe not even post it, just create it before you consume.
Real good.
Thanks.
Real good.
Thanks.
Because that can totally throw you off track.
Totally.
It's like, oh, I want to do that, I want to do that, I want to do that. Or they're doing it better than me, so I'm not going to do it at all.
So I'm not going to do it at all. Yep.
Dang.
I know.
You're speaking to me right now.
Another thing, you might see on like For You page or your Instagram, whatever, like let's just take the stupid example of the heatless curls, right? You're like, why would I show it? Like, let's say you use it and you love using it and you want to put out a video, you probably in your head, you're like, oh, why would I show it? There are so many people that have done it already. Yeah, but all those people are not following you. And all those people that are following you might not be following those people that actually already did it. So you're going to have new eyes on what you want to show. So don't let that feeling of it being oversaturated or everyone's already doing it. Your audience is your audience and they haven't seen it yet.
A lot of bombs there.
Thanks.
Little gems.
Pew, 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 pew.
Let's go. Great. I think a lot of people are going to learn from that.
I hope so.
If you could relive any day from our relationship, which one would it be?
Our engagement or our wedding. What?
Really?
Yeah.
Those would be the two I'd pick too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah. You might not like this answer. This might be a learning opportunity. The engagement is because it was my birthday and it was the best day ever. I don't get surprised ever. And I'm a romantic at heart, and I will say with 100% confidence that the romance movies, what are they called? Why am I having a brain fart?
Rom-coms?
Rom-coms, yeah. Rom-coms growing up literally effed up my life.
Yeah.
Set an expectation that I know is not the truth, yada, yada, yada. But I still know that every once in a while you can get that. And he proved it.
I proved
the
it.
day of my birthday. But that was how long ago now?
2019.
So I think it's time for another one.
Yeah.
Not an engagement, but like
okay.
the day. The day was just so planned. And it was just so beautiful, and I had a great day, and it was just great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our wedding.
Oh, our wedding was
just,
just top notch. Like it was the best.
The best. Even though it rained.
Best.
The rain probably made it even better.
The
More
rain
memorable.
it was funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, our wedding was so good.
Yeah. What's the first memory that comes to mind when you think about us?
When we met, I would have to say obviously, right? Is that the question?
I mean, no, it doesn't need to be the first memory of us. It needs to be like when you think of us, what's the first memory that comes to mind? Is that it? If that's it, there's no right or wrong.
No, I know, but like I don't know. I feel like that's a hard question because like you're right here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the first memory you think of? Go.
Oh man, there's so many.
I know.
There's so many. I would say sitting on the train.
Oh.
Sitting on the train at the train
track.
platform.
Yep.
Not
Watching
on the
the
train
sunset.
tracks. Watching the sunset when we had that
conversation.
Which leads me into my next question.
Oh gosh.
How did you know I was the one?
On that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we were okay, where do I even start the story? We were working at Equinox together, and he was house sitting for our manager at the time. And so we were his manager was one stop after mine.
On the train,
sorry. And we were just talking, and he got off the train at my stop, and we just sat on
Astoria Boulevard.
Astoria Boulevard. So I should say that train stop was like an outdoor train stop. It wasn't underground. It was like overground. It's in Queens. And we were sitting on the bench facing the sunset, and we were just talking. And I can't even tell you what we were talking about, but I do remember the question that I asked him after this. I said, "What do you believe in?" And that's when he was like, "Oh, I'm Christian, yada, yada, yada." And I was like, "Oh, crap, this is the guy." And I didn't say this is the guy because of that, because it was just like the cherry on top. Does that make sense? Like, it wasn't like...
Because up to this point, we'd already like...
Oh, yeah, we've established that.
Dating,
no.
But there was definitely attraction there. And we were learning about each other.
Yeah.
Becoming good friends. And that was just like...
Yeah.
On top of everything else. Whereas that probably should have been the first thing. Like, looking back, like, okay, well, you need to be equally yoked and making sure like you're on the same page, because you can't go through and learning all this stuff about each other and then like, oh, well, you're not like...
But the reason why I said that was because I had a boyfriend right before you, actually. Actually, maybe I would still have a boyfriend at this point. I don't know. Actually, I don't think so.
Because we were still friends.
Yeah.
It was still platonic.
Yeah.
Nothing was happening at this point.
No, I think we had been broken up at this point. But anyway, not to talk about his business or anything, but he wasn't a Christian, and there was other things that he had done that I would necessarily didn't agree with. And when I would think about my future, I would think about like, oh, I'm going to go to church by myself with the kids, and he was going to go off like smoke weed. And that's not what I wanted for my future. And so when Taz said that, I was like, oh yeah, like this is what I want. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you know I was the one?
When you, kind of like starting there, but then you invited me to church. And like you weren't necessarily afraid to invite me, thinking it was weird or anything. But then like the more I learned about your heart and how big of a heart you had, I was like, I could see her being the mom to my kids. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now we're here with Luna.
We're here with Luna.
Crying in the club.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Pretty incredible. Okay, moving on.
Please. Done crying.
Okay, this is the last one I have like written. You win the lottery. What's the first thing you buy for yourself?
For myself.
Yeah. This isn't like, you win the lottery, what do you do with the money? But like, okay, so short.
Paid off
Pay off your parents' debt,
Yep,
blah, blah, blah,
yep.
pay off our debt. What's one thing what do you do for yourself?
Buy a house.
You buy a house.
Like I build my house probably.
Yeah. Why? Why is it a house?
As opposed to a boat.
Why is it a house? Why is it not like some extravagant trip? Why is it not like a...
Because I think we've been wanting a house so bad. I'll speak for myself. I've been wanting a house for so long. With exactly how we want it built, with everything that we want. And it just still feels like a pretty far off goal.
Yeah.
And so the house would probably be, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What would you buy? A gun.
Sawed-off shotgun.
A truck.
No, I got the truck.
You got the truck.
I got the guns. Well, I could always have more guns. No, I think a house or like a really nice trip.
Yeah, I would go on a trip
Like
too.
a really nice trip.
But I would go on the trip after the house.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would go on the trip while the house is being built. Bam.
Oh, that's good.
You know?
That's solid. Would you bring anybody with you?
Yeah, you.
No. Like, would you fly family out? Would you?
It depends on the trip.
My pre-workout is kicking in.
Gotta hurry up.
Got about 6 minutes.
It would depend on the trip. Like if it was like
Feels like a beach vacation, like Maldives.
Oh, that'd be hard to travel though. I feel like it's a long haul. But I would if I won the lottery. Oh yeah, who's coming? We're celebrating.
Yeah,
for sure.
Would you tell anybody that you won the lottery?
No, but there'll be signs.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I'll tell my friends, but I wouldn't like publicly publicize it on social. Or I might because it's content. I'm just kidding.
Man, it's funny. I came across a clip on social about somebody called Dave Ramsey and was like, "Hey," it was anonymous, and "Hey, I won the lottery. I won like $200 million." Calling Dave Ramsey and was like, "I haven't told anybody. I told my wife and one other person." He was like, "We have teenage kids. We haven't told the kids. We haven't told any family. We haven't done anything," because he knows like as soon as you tell people, you're gonna have people come out of the woodwork.
That's actually true.
Then,
That's actually true.
Word spreads really fast.
Yeah.
And people want handouts and
Yeah.
everything. And so like telling people you can't.
Yeah. That's
As much
true.
as you want to be like, look at this, you can't.
Yeah.
If you want to.
So you wouldn't tell your family?
I don't know.
Yeah. It's one of those things like you have to cross that bridge when you get to it.
Yeah. Oh, it's one thing. He said his wife's uncle or something. I can't remember. Somebody on his wife's side had died recently before, and they got like an inheritance from that. And so they used, it was before the lottery. And they used
My
that
man
excuse.
got luck.
They used that excuse, like he said he paid for his mom to get a new roof. And so they used the excuse of the inheritance. Oh yeah, like so and so's uncle died and we got inheritance. Here, buy a new roof with that. But they had really
Won the
won the
lottery.
lottery. And so they were being very strategic with who they told. So I was wondering, like, would
Got
you
it.
tell anybody? And who would you tell, if anybody?
That's so interesting. I don't know. I have to think about that.
Yeah. I would probably trickle it out.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you. If we went now, like, Luna wouldn't understand.
I mean, if we want it now, I wouldn't tell anybody.
No.
But again, there will be signs.
What would the signs be?
The house.
The house?
We're moving. By building a house. Building our dream house.
But that's like a big sign. That's not like
yeah,
sure,
but
her
I'm a
business is
content
doing
creator,
well.
and so people can be like, "Oh, she's making that Amazon affiliate link," which I'm not making money on Amazon. Like I wish I were.
I think I saw like $60 come in.
Yeah.
Wow. Keep
Really
going, babe. See, I'm funny. I'm funnier than her.
Not funnier. That's what I'm saying. This is one of those times that you're funny. Yeah, no, I'm not making jack on Amazon, but I know someone who is and she's building her dream house, and I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
If money was a motivator for me, it's not.
Because you could, like,
Yeah, but the thing is like
you could
I would
do that,
have
but
to.
like, you don't want that to be your thing. You don't want to be known as an Amazon influencer.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Like, that's when you think of people that do that. Okay, cool, great, do your thing, but it's kind of they're known for shilling stuff on Amazon.
Yeah, and
like you don't want that.
And don't worry, I like Amazon just as much as the next girl, but I also don't want to promote like the overconsumption. Like I have a ton of crap in my house right now that I'm just like, why do I have all this stuff? I kind of just want to like throw everything away and start over.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like while I think about like, oh, I could be literally a millionaire through Amazon, but I just can't because of the overconsumption. And my entire life, I've always felt this was a really strong pull that I was meant for more than just like, and I don't want to say like an average life, but like I was put here on earth to help other women. And while I can probably help you find an Amazon, like something really cool from Amazon, like I think it goes deeper than that for me. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, I'll still share my Amazon, but that's not my that's not the bread and butter.
No, like here and there, especially if people ask for it.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, 60 buckaroonies.
Ooh, $63.71, I think it was.
I'm so dead.
Dang, girl, we're going to dinner.
Yeah.
We're going to get sushi tonight.
All you can eat, $20.
All you can eat, $20 for lunch, $30 for dinner.
It's actually really good sushi, dude. No, I want it.
Well,
we could get lunch before Luna.
Ooh, we could.
No.
Maybe.
Okay. Any other questions, sir?
I was just going to ask another one. When you were talking about Amazon, you're talking about because also like, what if Amazon goes away tomorrow?
Right.
Like when you build something so heavy, like people when people built their careers on TikTok,
yeah, and we almost lost it. We haven't talked about that.
We almost gone for 12 hours.
Oh.
And people were like freaking out because they put all of their eggs
on that
in one basket,
and
then
it's so
gone.
Funny now. Everyone's like, "Oh, join my YouTube channel." I'm like, "Welcome."
Yeah, yeah, and that's another thing. Of like starting now, going back to your advice, start now because you never know.
Yeah.
Like if somebody had decided, 2025 is my year to start TikTok, and then they start it, and guess what? It's gone. You could have started 3 years ago and then built that community and then moved them over to Instagram because it's like, but if you don't start, it goes back to just starting now.
Yeah.
What else?
Let's do 2 more questions. Or 5 more. This is fun.
Okay. Dream vacation.
I would like to go to the Maldives.
Maldives?
Yeah, just have that experience.
So like over ocean, over water cabana experience?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's like really much of like a just travel to just chill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I just don't know if it's like that different than like Mexico.
Oh, it's probably not.
So like
it's cool. Like sure, it'd be cool to like wake up and have like a hole in your floor.
Yeah, but they have that in Mexico,
right?
So and Jamaica, I think.
So it's really like a resort. Once you're on a resort, it's a resort.
It literally is the same thing.
Unless it's like
Alaska.
something like super, super different. But yeah, I feel like it's all the same. Like when we were in Dominican Republic, it was the same as Mexico.
Literally the same.
Like all the amenities
Except
were
like the food is a
very
little
similar.
bit different.
Right.
But,
Because it wasn't all inclusive.
right.
But okay, so if you were to travel for exploratory reasons, where would you want to go? Like if you're going not to just kick back on a beach or relax.
But that's all I want to do. No, I would like to go back to Italy. You good?
Yeah, I'm itchy.
It sounds like you're itchy.
Oh.
Like I hear like
Oh, you hear
little
it? Sorry.
like it sounds like little critters. I'm like,
I
are they
feel
on
critters.
you? Oh, you have to go, huh? Because your pre-workout
yeah,
is.
we got a few more minutes.
I've always wanted to go to Australia,
Australia.
so that might be my dream.
Yeah.
Like realistically,
Cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
come on, give me better questions.
Better questions.
Did your ChatGPT questions run out?
Yeah, they did. I can go back to ChatGPT and pick another ones. Okay. Let's see here. Let's scroll. Let's scroll. Scrolling. Ooh. From your perspective, what makes a successful piece of content, and how do you measure that success?
If it makes me feel something,
Okay.
like it could be as easy as like, I saw this one girl today. She reposted a video that she posted last year, and it was her holding her baby, and she was singing to her baby, and she was singing the Armageddon song. Remember this?
Don't want
to close
yeah.
my eyes. And I remember sending it to you. I'm like, I have never thought about this song in this way, and I was in tears.
Yeah.
Success.
Yeah.
You got me.
Yeah.
And then also, if you're like a comedian and you make me laugh, it's over.
Yeah.
And then if it's like fashion, if you can teach me how to like style a certain pair of pants, done.
Okay. So styling isn't necessarily feeling anything.
No, but it's helping me.
Okay. So it's not necessarily feeling an emotion, but it's also like educational.
It's either educational, funny, pulls at your heartstrings. And I don't necessarily think that the views have anything to do with it. I think that's just luck, to be totally honest. There's a lot of good content that's out there that's not being viewed, unfortunately. But then there's also like stupid content that's viewed, and that's just like for views.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else?
I have to blow my nose so badly.
How do you feel about me working in ministry?
Well, thank God you're not in ministry anymore. But
Well, in some capacity, like full time.
well, full time, yes.
Full-time,
Yes.
okay.
Yes. Sorry.
Like, how do you feel? All right. So, how do you feel about working in full time ministry, or how do you feel about when I worked in full time ministry?
Are those the questions you're asking me?
Yeah. Like, what perspective are you asking?
You mean answering?
Answering. Like, what angle are you wanting to?
When? When you worked in ministry?
When I worked. So my
Full-time.
previous experience.
Correct.
How did you feel about my previous experience working in full time ministry? You wanted this.
I think. Okay, so when I did yoga teacher training, they made a disclaimer and they said, you will never go through a yoga class the same because you are learning what it takes to build a good yoga flow, this and that, right? That's how I feel about ministry.
Mm-hmm.
It changed a lot for me. You know, the ins and the outs of what's going on in the church. Obviously not all of it because you're not like super in, what are they called? The executive team.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have a good idea of how people are treated, the boundaries that are not there,
The
so
inner
on and
workings.
yes.
You go inside the hive.
Yeah.
Which is hard.
Yeah.
Because as like obviously as just an attendee in church, it's very different than being an employee or being on staff at a church because your perspective is completely different. It's like being a consumer of Apple and using the product versus being the one designing it.
Right.
Like we have no idea what went into creating this.
Yeah.
And it's just totally different. For
Or
sure.
it's like you can think about like Disney. Like you go as a spectator, you see all the shows, it's all great.
Yeah.
But then they have that underground thing.
That world.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
whole different world than people, we have all the stories about Disney and stuff, but it's kind of the same thing. You think that the inner workings of ministry is kind of the same thing that they preach at church, and sometimes it's not. And I think that was the hardest part.
Yeah.
Shall I go?
Yeah. Go on.
Oh, okay. Get the tea. No, I'm kidding. I think ministry might be okay for people that don't have families, don't have kids. But I think once you, and again, this is only from our experience. I don't know other churches because there might be better boundaries in other churches and stuff. But there are so many times that I would have you, or you'd be like, "Oh, I got to get out of bed because they need this for tomorrow," and I'm like, "What? What?" Like, no, the boundaries were not there. Unfortunately.
Do you think that's my fault, or do you think that's the organization's fault?
Well, sometimes I thought it was your fault, but you'd be like, "No, I'm waiting for this person to send me this and this and this." And so at first I'd be like, "Why did you save it till last minute?" And you're like, "Well, I didn't. I was waiting for something, so for somebody to send me something." And that's when I was like, "Oh." So as a whole, we're not
respecting boundaries.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then also the way the church handled things recently just makes me never want. I'm not going to say ever because it's not all ministries are the same.
Yeah.
But ours.
Never want me to work in full-time ministry again? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're
No, I was going to say in that ministry.
Oh.
Because I don't want to lump all of them together. Not all of them.
That was like the first and only up to this point full-time ministry experience I had. And I think it was birthed out of running so fast. And when they say building the plane as you're flying it, like you're learning and you're trying to operate at the same time. And that doesn't always lead to balance. It doesn't always lead to a desirable outcome, especially when the staff at that point was so young.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any boundaries needed because there was a couple people that had kids.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And
like
so,
if it was like a young college student or somebody that doesn't have responsibilities and like a wife or a husband or kids, then sure. Like
you can stay up till 2, 3 a.m. like tearing down an event and go out to Whataburger afterwards and like grab dinner and be home by 3 and not have anything going on the next day. But like it's that totally changes and it's hard to, you definitely can't lump every ministry into that.
No.
It's just that's the way that one was run. And once that's established to do it that way, it's hard to get out of that. And so I think the boundaries.
And I will say that this could also be the same thing in like a corporate setting. It's not only like a church, right? Like if somebody's not respecting your boundaries at your 9 to 5 and they want you to do something at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock when you're home with your family, also not acceptable.
Yeah. But it's also up to you to set those boundaries.
Right.
And are you referring to like after we had Luna?
Oh, I was going to say something else.
Oh, got it.
I was going to say that it could also go into the corporate world and all of that, but I think the church is held to a higher standard.
Should be.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Because they're the ones preaching this. And so if you're not practicing what you preach, you're like, well, what?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I think like and I'm going to use the pre-Luna and post-Luna. Like pre-Luna, sure, I had a responsibility to her, to Yami. But it's a little bit easier to get around, not around that, but say there were late nights and early mornings.
Yeah.
Like it's a little bit easier to say, hey, babe, sorry, we have this going on when it's just her. But when you have a family and priorities shift and, oh, guess what? Like, oh, I can't go because like she needs to do something. And with Luna, like I'd have to take care of Luna or whatever, and
Or
she'd
just
have to
have
go
family
off.
time.
But like
Or-
otherwise,
Yeah.
otherwise, like before Luna, I could go do this and then she could go do her thing without
Mhm.
having to worry about anything else. But when you're trying to run the same pace and you can't maintain the same boundaries in different seasons, like pre-Luna, we had certain boundaries.
Right.
Post-Luna, very much tighter boundaries. And like after this time, guys, I'm sorry, I can't do anything. So get your stuff taken care of and get it to me so I can get it done by this time, or else you're gonna have to wait. And so I would say setting boundaries is on equally as much on me as it would be on the organization.
Yeah, but it's
For
also respecting the boundaries.
Yeah, but if you don't put up the boundaries, then,
Oh no, I agree. I'm the one that told you to put up boundaries.
Mhm. Yeah,
I was like, say no.
yeah, yeah,
Grow
yeah,
a backbone.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yep, I think that's it.
that's it.
Any other questions anything else you want to talk about?
You're the interviewer here.
Oh, sorry. Nope, that's it. Well, thanks for tuning into this episode of Better Than Before. We'll see you next week.
Let us know if you liked
Yeah.
it. We can have Tazzy takeover. Is that what we call it?
Tazzy takeover. Well, you're gonna call me Tazzy now?
No,
No,
Taz takeover.
that's reserved for Ahmed.
Taylor takeover.
Yeah.
Tickety takeover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's gonna do it for this
Thank you.
show.
Thank you for
Thanks for tuning
interviewing
in.
me. This was fun.
Yeah, let's do it more often.
Okay.
Okay. Let us know what you thought, and we'll see you in the next one.
Love you guys.
Later.
Bye.